We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill. Hello and welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I'm your host, John Stenning, and a bit later in this episode, I will be joined with IJAH member and friend of the podcast, Sam Dimick. Sam and I are going to talk about Rasputitsa that he just recently participated in. We're going to field some questions from some of you, but first, I am going to field some questions from some of you. So I recently asked our Strava Club and our WhatsApp chat to ask us anything to be answered on the podcast. I saved some for later in the episode with Sam. I'm also going to save some later for future episodes. So if we didn't get to your question on this episode, we will get to it on a future episode. So keep them coming. You can leave them in the comments below on our YouTube or on our Instagram or on our WhatsApp chat. You can find the link to join that WhatsApp chat in the description of this video. So yeah, let's get right to it. Cal Roberti on WhatsApp, former future guest of the podcast, member of It's Just a Hill. Hi, Cal. Thank you for your question. He says, I'm saying this from a positive outlook / perspective, but what would you change or improve with It's Just a Hill? So I think this is a great question. Thank you so much, Cal. I personally am always looking for ways to improve, and if that means change, basically like I'd say every aspect of my life, but especially this group, It's Just a Hill. The first thing that comes to mind, like if you want to talk like just on the surface, is like the first video that we shot for It's Just a Hill. It's like the intro video on our YouTube. I'm very proud of the video. Had a lot of fun doing it, getting it together. I think there's a lot of great footage, but I think it's a little bit too intense. I think it doesn't necessarily like jive with the message that we're putting out there. I think it came together really nicely, but it's just a little bit too intense. And I want to make a video that has like more smiling and like it's just a little bit more lighthearted and like just like a track that's a little bit more lighthearted. I've heard from some people that they think that it's just a little bit, intense. And I don't want to be intense. I think there's a place for riding in an intense way, if that means like a Strava KOM or a race or whatever that means to you, but that's not necessarily the whole picture here with It's Just a Hill, and we want to be friendly and we want to be welcoming. And I guess that opens it up to the next point of my answer of this question is I want to get more varied riders out to our rides. It's hard to do, and sometimes I feel like I'm just putting out events or making events on Strava, and only a certain type of rider is coming out, and people are like, well, why aren't there more this or more that? And like it's hard. To be perfectly honest, it's like hard, like running. This is not my full-time job, doing the podcast and running the rides. And so like, sometimes it's easy to just, put out like one ride, but I'm trying to be better about it and trying to introduce like C groups to our normal A and B group rides on our like standard IJAH rides. Also like sip and spin rides and back to basic rides, which I know we haven't done since last season, but they will be coming back for this year for 2023. So sip and spin rides are usually just like very casual, like 75% on the bike path. I'm talking 10 to 15 miles per hour average, relatively flat, about an hour and 15 minutes. And the back to basic rides are a little bit more oriented to like group riders or people who haven't really ever ridden in a group but maybe want to on the road. And we will be doing more of those. So keep an eye out on our Strava page. You can find that link too below in the YouTube description. Another thing that I think I would like to change or improve is like, and I think this is a bigger picture and not just a group ride and IJAH thing, but it's all cycling is like, there's just so many like men. There's just so many cisgendered males at our rides and in all of cycling. And I personally would like love to host a ladies ride or like a non-binary ride through the club. But like, I feel odd about hosting that ride. Like as a a male, as just like a white male in his 30s. Like I do feel like it is my responsibility to use my voice and use my place in the world to speak up for the unspoken for. But like, I don't know. What does that mean? Does that mean like I host the first ladies ride or try to get like, I don't know. I don't want people to think that it is like all about me, you know? So like if there are ladies out there, or if there are non-binary people or people that want to host a ride that like, I mean, because anyone can come to the IJAH rides. It's just not, there aren't a lot of women in cycling, or cycling is just like dominated by men, especially like casual cycling. And I mean, pro cycling is getting a little bit better, but the representation still is not there, and the pay is not there, and it sucks. And you know, I would love to get more women on rides, or I'd love to host a ladies ride or a non-binary ride. So, you know, you can leave a comment below. You can find me on WhatsApp and reach out to me there personally, or send me an email, john@itsjustahill.com. That's JON@itsjustahill.com. And reach out to me and let me know if you want to host an event that appeals to different groups of people that aren't just, you know, middle-aged men in tights. I could be past middle age. Who knows? Could die tomorrow. Okay, moving on. Thank you so much, Cal. That's a great question, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to get into a little bit of a more lighthearted question. Jason Behringer on our Strava Club, he asks this multi-faceted question. When you shave your legs, do you upward strokes or downward strokes? What type of razor should I use? Men's or ladies? Can you use an electric shaver? Shaving cream or soap? Should I add moisture after? Does shaving one legs add watts? That's watts with 3 Z's. Or is it more just a cool roadie factor? So, wow. What a gem of a question from JB. Thank you, Jason, for asking. I'm going to break these down. I'd also like to start by saying I think it's hilarious that Jason he does not ask if I shave my legs. He does not say, do you shave your legs? And if so, ... He just knows that I shave my legs. So, thanks. When you shave your legs, do you do upward strokes or downwards? So me personally, and this is all obviously personal, upward strokes only. And I do split my leg into quadrants when shaving, because like one leg at a time is just like too much to conquer. So I look at like the lower section, then lower upper, then upper lower, and then upper upper. Right? Think about it. Lower lower upper lower, upper upper. And that's how I tackle my leg all the way around. And then I, do like a clean sweep around at the end. It's easier if you like shave your legs more often. So yeah. What type of razor should I use, men's or ladies? I use a ladies razor. I use it's like a Venus type razor, but it's like a knockoff kind that I buy on Amazon or something. Razors are expensive, and it has like the little soap bits above and below the blades. So yeah, it's like Venus style razor. I'm sure you could use a men's razor too, but I don't know. The ladies razor is really great for the contours of your legs. And you want those contoured legs, baby. Can you use an electric shaver? Sure. You can use an electric shaver, but you can also take a road bike on Old Voluntown, and it just doesn't mean it's the right tool for the job. So using an electric buzzer is good when your hair is long, so you don't clog up like your new straight edge razor. That maybe like the first time you're shaving your legs and your hair is long and you want to get it down to stubble before hitting it with like a traditional razor. You use that electric one to get it short. The first time I shaved my legs, I did not know that little pro tip, so I just shaved them with like the regular razor, and not only did it dull the razor and clog it with hair, but it was like a terrible long experience, and the water in the shower got cold. I like turned the water off, and it was just terrible. So yeah, I guess an electric razor is good, but it's not going to get you a close, smooth shine. It's going to get you like a 5 o'clock shadow type of deal just on your legs. Shaving cream or soap? So for me, neither. I do not use shaving cream, nor do I use soap. Very, very rarely. Maybe I've used shaving cream twice and soap once. But like I said earlier about that Venus razor, it's got the little soap bits above and below the blades. It works for me. I think it also helps, like I said earlier too, is that I do shave my legs often. So, the hair isn't super long when I'm shaving it, so it's okay to just hit it with the razor. I do not get razor burn. And this sort of leads into the next question that Jason asked. Should I add moisture after? Maybe this helps with my razor burn, but yes, I sure do. I think it probably makes your legs look better. It makes them smoother, of course. as we get into the next question, it makes them more aerodynamic. But yeah, I moisture them. Some mostly just like a regular, like, I don't know, extra care moisture, cocoa butter type of deal. And then I'll hit them with like Aquaphor, Olea Aquaphor, like once a week, really to get them shining. You know, the summer's coming, so I'll be wearing my short shorts out in public, showing off my legs. And that brings us to the next question. Does shaving one's legs add watts, or is it more just a cool roadie factor? So is it a cool roadie factor? Like I said, I'll be wearing my short shorts. People are going to be looking at my legs in public. They're going to be shaved. Whether I'm out with friends, whatever, you're at a barbecue in the summer, you got your shorts on, and our people are like looking at my legs and they're like, whoa, John's legs are smooth and look at him. His calves are a little bit more toned than mine. No one is doing that. This is... If you want, it may be in your wildest dreams, but I do not think it is I do not shave my legs because I think it's cool. Maybe you do. If you shave your legs because you think it's cool, more power to you. I do not think shaving my legs is cool. I barely think cycling is cool. I think it's fun. I really like to do it. I think you meet cool people. But if you had to ask me, I think it's dorky. I think tights are dorky. Helmets and glasses are alien looking. And so the whole addition of like shaved legs, it's just like alienating. I don't know. I think I truly think it's a big reason why motorists do not respect cyclists, is because we dress in a way that makes us be perceived differently than the majority of people. I'm being very serious. I think, you're in a car, you see someone in tights with like a big helmet on and sunglasses. They don't look like your average human. And so it's easier to judge them and be mad at them because they seem different. That's the society that we live in. It sucks. But because we are seen as different, I do not think it helps. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to wear a helmet and glasses and tight clothes. And like, I think it's form over fashion. You can look good in cycling clothes, but it's dorky. And so it's not for the cool factor. I would not say it's a roadie cool factor. Maybe amongst your circle of friends, if you have like cycling friends. Some of my cycling friends that I ride with like all the time do not shave their legs. Some do, some don't. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. But not in your wildest dreams is someone like, oh, dude, his legs are shaved. He must ride his bike all the time. People already like jokingly asked me, like, I went to a wedding in New Bedford. I think it was in New Bedford. I live in Richmond, Rhode Island. I went to a wedding in New Bedford, Massachusetts. You can look at it on a map. They're not that close. I was in a sport coat and like a button up and like dress pants. And someone was like, did you ride your bike here? So I don't think it's a roadie cool factor. But do I think it adds watts? Yes, I do think it adds watts. No, I don't think it adds watts. I think it helps you save watts. Let's be clear. It helps you save watts. You're putting out a certain amount of watts, and those watts in your legs are translating to the road through your pedal stroke and your chain and your tires. And depending on the inflation of your tire or the lubrication on your chain or the positioning of your bike, how aerodynamic you are or not, depends on how many of those watts translate from your leg to power output on the bike. And so can you save some watts by shaving your legs? Yes. I've seen wind tunnel tests recently. This question was brought up on the WhatsApp. Leon chimed in and said that he saw that there were wind tunnel tests. Some say up to 15 watts. Right. This obviously depends on the rider and the conditions. I do know that I've seen other videos that claim that the calf is one of the calf of like your calf muscle is one of the least aerodynamic parts of the body when sitting on the bike. That's why aero socks are so popular, and that's why shaving your legs is popular. Apparently, the most aerodynamic way to shave your legs is to only shave the front and to let the hair on the back of your calf grow, because those extra hair follicles on the back of your calf allow the wind and air pocket to be swept away more cleanly, as opposed to a clearly shaven back of your leg, which causes more air turbulence. Look it up. I don't know the sources, but I'm like 99% sure I know what I'm talking about here. So technically, if you want to be the most aero, you should be shaving the front of your legs and leaving stubble on the back of your legs to cut up the air turbulence. But you can grab Aero socks, you can shave your legs, and maybe you'll be grabbing KOMs in no time. It is a marginal gain, but it's still a gain, and I'm all about marginal gains. I'm all about Aero positioning, and I think if that's the type of rider that you are and you want to be a little bit more efficient, I like cycling because it is efficient. I like the efficiency of traveling a certain amount of distance over a certain amount of time, and if you can be a little bit more Aero, and if that means shaving your legs, then go for it. If you listen to the episode that I had with my dad last episode, growing up, my dad shaved his legs, and it, wasn't like a common thing. And I always thought it was because it was more aerodynamic, but then, pros shave their legs because it's a better massage. It's also easier to clean if you get road rash, which I think is a really strange reason to shave your legs. Like you're planning to fall. I don't know. I never really bought those. But the whole thing of being slightly more aerodynamic, it does help. And if that's what you're into, then great. So yeah, I have a lot. My legs are nice and shaved and moisturized. I showered before the podcast. So, yeah. Matt Steinkamp, Classic Steinkamp on our WhatsApp. He asked, with local group rides ebbing and flowing, where do you see the New England bike scene in 5 years? This is tricky. Sam and I are going to break this down a little bit more with some other questions from Matt later on in the podcast. So tune in for more of a conversation on the ebbing and flowing of local bike scene, the bike scene here in New England in 5 years. I hope It's Just a Hill continues to grow. I'd love to do more organized events that, might have a small registration fee, but will allow us to be bigger than what we are doing already. Sort of going on to the question that Cal had earlier, just about growing and changing. And I have a lot of ideas and stuff about It's Just a Hill that I want to continue doing in the future. So hopefully we will contribute to what that means for the New England bike scene, if that means hosting races or other events or, sanctioned events. But it's really tough, and it sucks to see things get canceled. But yeah, listen on later in the episode for that question. And Matt, Mr. Steinkamp, also asked, other than grilled cheese, this is specifically for me because he knows that I do not like to eat grilled cheese. You may be aware that I did eat a grilled cheese before doing the Kankamangas Highway, which is a nice, beautiful climb in it's a mountain pass in New Hampshire that goes between North Conway and Lincoln. And on the Conway side, there is a grilled cheese place called Cheese Louise. And Brian and I stopped there on a hot summer day. We climbed from east to west the Kank, and as we descended, I got sick and threw up while I was descending on my bike. I blame it 100% on the grilled cheese. So I do not like to eat grilled cheese mid-ride. I don't need to eat any lactose mid-ride. Really, that's going to be my food for you, Matt. That's going to be my answer. I don't want to eat lactose. One time I had some tacos with cheese mid-ride when I rode out to Plymouth with Brian Caudy and Sean Lowney. And it didn't bother me that much, maybe because it was mixed with the protein in the taco, but I'm not doing lactose. I'm definitely not doing milk. I don't want cheese. As much as I think a burrito might be something fun to have mid-ride, I've never done that because of the cheese factor. I'll eat basically anything else. I've recently been into a chip kick. Just a bag of chips. I used to be more I always get a fast break. If you've ridden with me on long rides, you know that I like to get a fast break. But yeah, I've been getting bags of chips, like barbecue chips, and they're loaded with sodium, and it's just, it's carbs. And sure, it's not great for you, but I'm going to say it later on in the podcast. You don't diet while you ride, diet off the bike. So I think it's okay to get a bag of chips at mile 40, even though they're not the most healthy thing in the world when you have another 40 miles to go. So I personally stick away from lactose. If there's anything else that you, the viewer or listener, think that you should avoid mid-ride, any sort of food that you think you should avoid mid-ride, drop them in the comments of the YouTube below. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Drop any further questions that you might have for me, for the podcast, or for like a group roundtable type of episode in the comments below as well. Thank you to all of you who submitted questions. It was very helpful. Love hearing from everyone. And if your question was not mentioned here or later with Sam, keep an eye out or an ear out, and maybe you'll hear your question on a future episode. Ended up getting a lot, and I really appreciate that, but I didn't want to answer them all here. I wanted to tease some for the future. So thank you again to everyone that chimed in on our WhatsApp or our Strava. You can join both of those via links in the description below. We will take a quick break, and we will be back with Sam Dimick to talk Rasputitsa and answer some more of your questions. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. I guess it was just like a short break between the intro and this, but now you can see it's me, John, here with Sam Dimick. Hi, Sam.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me, John.
Thank you. Welcome back to the podcast.
It's great to be back.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's awesome. Great place to be.
Nice. Thanks. Thanks for coming. This is a rare, I don't want to timestamp it too much, but it's a rare morning record.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome.
We're both early birds, I think.
Sitting down with a coffee is great.
Yeah,
Great
you
vibes.
already swam this morning?
Yes, swam. Hopefully I don't have rings around my eyes, but yeah, swam this morning.
Because of the goggles that you wear.
The goggles, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a
sometimes.
big snorkel too when you swim?
No, but
okay.
I guess it's good for swimming, but I don't do any.
Do some people? I guess people like do long distance swimming with snorkels.
Yeah, I guess it's good for form, because what kind of messes you up about like your form is that you're looking to the side. And it's better to just look straight down and just like kind of focus on the form more, I guess.
Gotcha.
Instead of having to worry about breathing and all that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
some people actually do snorkel work, and I should, but don't.
Well, okay, maybe now's the time to try it.
Yeah.
So Sam, you just rode Rasputitsa.
Yeah, it was awesome. This past weekend, April 29th. Yeah, Rasputitsa was great.
Where is that? In Vermont, right?
East Burke, Vermont.
East Burke, Vermont. Yeah.
First gravel race, first bike race.
Right. Your first race without swimming and running.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've done 2 Olympic triathlons in the past, and then 1 Ironman.
Yeah.
And then this was my first bike race,
Right.
which was great. It was, I was talking to my buddy about it, and it reminded me a lot of like skiing, like no friends on a powder day.
What do you mean?
Like no friends on a powder day. Like it's a powder day. Like you're just trying to be out there, enjoy it. Like,
Okay.
Enjoy the day. Like enjoy the snow.
Is that a phrase? No friends on a powder day?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of it before. All right. Interesting. But so like you went out there, right?
Yeah.
You have like family that is close by, right?
Yeah.
So you stayed over the night. It was like a long weekend.
Yeah.
How long was the course?
I got the notes here. 57 miles, 7,100 feet of climbing.
Whoo, that's awesome.
It was more, the ratio, the climbing ratio was wild, but ton of climbing. It was like a lot of sustained.
That's off the charts climbing.
Yeah, there was a lot of sustained climbs. So I went up the night before. My grandparents have a place up in Maidstone Lake, Vermont, which is like Northeast Kingdom, which is kind of like where East Burke is. And went up there with my dad, stayed up there.
Kingdom Trails area. If people have heard of Kingdom Trails.
Yeah.
Right? It's that area.
Kingdom Trails area. And when it was like an hour away, and then drove over morning of the race, and went to the race. It was great. So my dad was there, and then my mom ended up showing up too. So it was a big family affair. It was great.
How long did it take, like, to do the 57? What did you say? 52 miles, 57 miles, and 7,100 feet.
Yeah. And it took me it was like ride time 3:50, 3 hours 50 minutes.
Nice.
And it's like total time 3:55, which I was pretty happy about. The 5 minutes.
What did that 5 minutes entail? Were you like nature break, or was it rest stop, or what? A little bit of both?
Honestly, I hate to say it was bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
And I actually ran a hydration pack. So it was, I didn't stop at the first aid station. Like I saw people stop, but I had 2 bottles still, because I still had a little bit in my hydration pack. So I didn't stop.
You went hydration pack first. You drink from that first before you hit your bottles?
Yeah, I went from that first before I drank the bottles. I actually just had like normal scratch mix in my hydration pack, and then I had the super carb mix in my bottles.
Yeah.
So
that's scratch stuff too, right?
Scratch
but that's
stuff
just
too.
like the stuff that is super hard to mix into water.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Hyper fuel, they call
super
it?
Fuel,
Super
I think.
fuel.
Yeah,
Okay.
So it was more carbs in there, and so I didn't stop at the first stop, and then I stopped at the second aid station, but literally a woman like ripped my bottles out of my bike, and she was like, "What do you want in these bottles?"
Wow.
And I was like,
so she was at race pace too.
"Oh yeah, it was wild." And I was like, I have water." And then, and I didn't realize that you could put like electrolytes in them too.
Oh.
So I had my own electrolytes in a bag that I dumped in there.
Yeah.
So I guess that was taking up the time, but bathrooms and that second stop.
But 5 minutes.
5 minutes. I'm not bummed about it.
No, you shouldn't be. That's great. I mean, you gotta, to race for almost 4 hours, taking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't remember so Overland is like a similar ride that I've done. I think it was maybe like 7 minutes. I stopped twice.
Yeah.
One of them was faster than the other, but yeah, I mean, that's a very different thing than like a segment race or just a ride where you're fueling. And it also pertains to the way that you fuel, right? So like, you were drinking from the hydration pack first, then you go to your bottles.
Yeah.
What are you eating?
I brought along with me 6 Cliff Gels.
Okay.
So that I had 5 of them and ended up having 5 Cliff Gels. So I guess total at the end of the race, I had 5 Cliff Gels, 5 bottles total.
Okay, cool.
2 of those bottles had the scratch
regular
super fuel
scratch.
in them.
Okay. Yep.
And then 2 of those bottles was in my back and had the normal
regular scratch.
Yeah. And then one was just a normal water that woman
they filled.
That woman shoved
that the
in
volunteer filled.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
great.
nice.
So 5 bottles total. I actually have what I wrote down or what
else do you have on the first side of that sheet of paper?
Let's see.
Some things at the bottom before we flip it over.
Oh geez, before I flip it over, I just had like my stats from the ride, I guess.
Oh yeah, let's hear them.
Which was, so I just got a power meter and I'm bummed that I didn't put it on.
You didn't run it for the race.
Didn't run it for the race, but it's on my bike now, so
right.
I wish I had all the power data and stuff, but my average heart rate was 148 for that 3 hours, 50 minutes.
Nice. Yep.
Which I thought was pretty high, which is like higher than normally I go.
But like you're racing.
Totally.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
To be higher.
Yeah, exactly. And 176 was my max heart rate.
Okay.
Which isn't my max heart rate. I'd say my max is like 182, 184.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Do you know when that came on the ride?
Yeah, definitely. There was the second to last climb got up to like 20% grade.
Oh, dang.
And it was like loose gravel too.
Okay.
And I look up and like I just see some, because at that point the races had intersected and I see some people just unclipped up at the top, like walking their bike up. I was like, oh shoot, like have to dig a little hard here.
Yeah, right.
And definitely there, just like for the fact of not wanting to unclip, like people next to you that were unclipped were like, nice job. Was,
yeah. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was good. I burned 3,165 calories.
Wow, that's according to you wear a watch, right?
Wore a watch, heart rate monitor.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the Garmin data. So 3,165 calories. The climbs. I just wrote like a climbs thing here. It started with like 2 for me were 8-minute climbs, but I wrote down 5 to 10 minute climbs.
Yeah.
Which were just like I thought were notable. I don't know.
Sure.
And then it really got into it at about it was kind of just like 5 to 10 minute climbs for the first 20 miles, and then really got into it at mile 18. Was the first climb, and that was 2 miles 800 feet. Which kind of just broke up the pack a lot and everything. And
how big of a field was it?
We wrote that down too. There was 588 males and 101 females, 3 non-binary. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah.
700-ish?
Yeah, just under 700.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And mass start, everyone rolled out at the same time?
Mass start, everyone rolled out at the same time. It was wild.
Chipped? Were you chip timed?
Chip timed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think I finished right around 180.
Hell yeah.
So that was good. Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice job. Nice.
Yeah.
It felt good. You had fun. I saw a picture of you that your mom posted on Instagram. You had a big smile on your face.
Oh man, it
looked
was
like
fun.
You had fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely fun, and you found people that were having fun too. There was definitely some people that were taking it serious. That was kind of my comment about no friends on a powder day earlier.
Okay,
it was just no friends on race day. It was I kind of realized that quickly in the race. It was just oh shoot,
right. Everyone's working for themselves.
Definitely.
Did you have an encounter that you can remember? It's personally, I remember doing Overland. I foolishly like had a conversation with the guy in the first 5 minutes, and this sort of plays into that like no friends on race day. Like, he was very nice. He rolled up behind me and he was like, "Hey, it's just a hill." And he said like he had seen one of our videos, and I was like, "Oh, cool, that's great." And I talked to him for like 3 minutes, and in those 3 minutes, I like lost Brian and Adam. They were in front of me. I was chasing them for the rest of the day, and so I'm on this one segment when people really started to break up. It was like after the first pave section, and I'm out front with this one other guy, and I pull for like maybe 2 minutes, and I'm putting in a pretty good effort. You know, my heart rate's probably like 160, 165, and I flick my elbow, and he does not pull through, and I just look at him, and I'm like, "Come on, dude." And he's like, "We're not on a team." And I was like, "Okay, fuck you." And I think I put down the power a little bit more and just like went away from him. Did you have any encounters like that, or was it more just the general feel of the way people weren't like, "Hey, I'm not riding for you," you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it was just like, yeah, it was just like positioning too. Like, I don't know, like, yeah, definitely no like smiles at the first 20 miles.
Did you ride with a certain group of people or were you just like ping ponging around between groups?
I kind of got in. I mean, I lined up probably like 200 people back. I saw a buddy that I used to ride gravel with up in New Hampshire at the start. So I kind of just like lined up with him, saw him, we rolled up to the start line together. And I remember the first climb, I was like track standing at the first climb because there was just so many people that it was just like I like was half wheeling the guy in front of me kind of, and like nicked his tire a little, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And then someone did it to the same behind me, and he was like, "Sorry, bro." And I was like, "No worries, like I can't move."
You didn't put a foot down, but it was just really slow.
Yeah, I was just like there, and then I'm seeing people flying by on the left, and then I ended up just like going through the dirt off to the right, and then I ended up catching on to some groups after that and being able to work a little bit, but yeah, I think I definitely need to get better. I think I texted you guys that I need to get better about like the race dynamics aspect of things. Yeah. Like it would have been great. Like looking back on it, like that first group that I had latched onto after I got off of that climb, like I should have just stayed with that group and like kept working. But I was kind of like, no, like this is my own effort. Like I'm going to do my own thing, you know? So
it's just like a totally different aspect of a ride.
Yeah.
You know, like we like to do, I don't want to speak for everyone, but like I like social rides, right? Like I like to race too, but the amount that I race is like such a fraction of the amount that I ride, right? Like if I ride 10,000 miles a year, how many miles am I racing a year? 200?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like between like a couple gravel races and a couple road races. So like it is an aspect that like, not only like positioning, right? Because I recently did the URI road race, and like you think about like positioning and like working and like, you know, the guy that won the URI road race that I participated in, like sat on the front for like 2 minutes. And is that the most noble thing? I don't think so. But did he win because it's good race tactics? Yeah. You know? And like really, like who cares about being noble on some like road race down in like, you know, on Musquamacket Beach? Like that's not like what we're doing. So it is like an interesting thing. Like, so, but racing for 4 hours is obviously very different than racing for like 50 minutes like I did. So is it something that like, do you think you'll do Rasputitsa again? Will you do other races? Like, how do you feel about the experience?
Yeah, like, I definitely think I'll do Rasputitsa next year.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'd love to do it. Sounds awesome.
It'd be great to get a crew up there. I think just like solely though, off just like the just like wanting to do better than I did this past year. Yeah. And just like, it was such a culture shock to me, just like the race vibe, and I guess, and just like, okay, like if this is going to be it, like okay, I'll do it next year, and I'll do a little better, like hopefully do a little better. So, that's why I'll definitely do it. I'm still wondering like about the whole race thing, if I'm totally into it. Which it was definitely a blast, and I'm sure I'd have a blast at other races. So I guess I'm just lining up just looking at some other races and thinking about what I could do
this year. Do you have any on the calendar this year?
Good question. Yeah. So I'm doing Greasy Joe's this weekend, tomorrow with you.
Are we racing it?
I hope not.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, this will come out after. So, you know, we'll see who won Greasy Joe's. It's not a race, but that's a longer, I mean, you're doing a big day. You're putting in a big day tomorrow.
I'm hoping to leave from Providence and do 100 miles total. Just a long day. Haven't done.
I guess mine will be close to 100.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to leave from here.
Yeah. Big day.
Yeah. Now, are you hitting any gravel before Not to talk about Greasy. Are you hitting any gravel before you hit the Greasy Joe's route with us?
No, I think I'm meeting BSP on the bike path on the way down to Providence.
Gotcha.
And then on the way back, I still have to make the route, but I'm thinking I can maybe touch on like Smith Road or that one, like
the Foster, some of those Foster sections.
Yeah, and then come across the reservoir and like back into Providence that way. That could be a little too long.
Somewhere it's known as Adam Country.
Adam Country, Adam. For sure.
Yeah.
So I have Greasy Joe's, which will be fun, and then I'm going to Austin the following weekend to ride with a buddy and just do a couple long rides, which has just like been on my calendar. Couple long road rides.
Nice.
That'll be good.
Renting a bike, taking a bike,
renting an Amonda.
Oh, right. You told me that.
Yeah. Yep. So, hoping to get like a 80-mile ride, 100-mile ride in. Should be a blast. Yep. Following weekend, Farmer's Daughter.
Is Harry trying to go through your bag?
I don't know.
Farmer's Daughter, right? We're doing that.
Farmer's Daughter.
That's like 2 weekends away now.
Yeah. Yep. The 21st.
Out in Chatham, New York.
Yep. And then
also not a race.
Not a race, but chip timed.
Chip timed.
Yeah.
I think maybe just for people's safety. I guess I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? People want to see their name on the show that they finished
for timing. Yeah. I'm excited for Farmer's Daughter. Should be fun.
Gravel ride. I didn't realize the climbing on it's like 7,000 feet of climbing and like similar to Rasputitsa.
What was the course like? Was it fire roads? Was it technical stuff?
It was honestly mostly hard packed dirt, which was not what I was had in mind. It was hard packed dirt. I think like a lot of it was like really fitnessy, just like a lot of 20-minute, 10-minute climbs. I was saying if like you had good 10 or 20-minute power, like you're golden, or like good at just like sustained climbs. Yeah,
but that's similar to the metrics for like the Greylock ride. Just half the distance. But like gravel also makes it different. Like, a gravel bike and a road bike not only ride differently. Harry is causing such a ruckus over here. Harry, just lay down. We're gonna have to edit this out. Oh my God, I'm not editing it out. Don't edit it out. But so like it's 20-minute climbs aren't something that you get around here. So like is there a specific way of training for it, or do you think it's more general and just training your fitness?
I don't know. I mean, I was definitely like the long rides. I was trying to mix. I was getting in. I was trying to do as much climbing as possible, like just long centuries. But that's the thing. Like you were just saying, Greylock. Like that was another thing. That climb I was describing to you. Like that climb would have been quote unquote easier. It would have been so hard on road, but it was harder on gravel because like you can't really get up out of the saddle because your back wheel's going to spin out.
Yeah, right. So maybe you have slightly better climbing gearing. At least my gravel bike does compared to my road bike.
I totally do. Yeah.
But like you said, you're offsetting that advantage with like slippery surface or a heavier bike or whatever it is. So hell yeah. What about what else? Do you have anything else this year?
So Farmer's Daughter. Yep. Doing Greylock, which will be a blast.
Yep.
And then let's see. That's a good question. No, I think I'm leaving August and September. I'm kind of at a crossroads with like triathlon and running and stuff right now, where I'm looking at like Xterras on the calendar, which are like off-road triathlons.
Oh, okay.
So it's like either a mountain bike or a gravel bike, swim, and then a trail run.
Yeah, you swim in a lake or something.
Yeah, so that seems super interesting to me, just like all the outdoor aspect, just like the trail aspect. I don't know. So I'm still looking at things, and then there are some like trail running things. Like I don't know, I have some friends up in New Hampshire that are really good like trail runners, mountain runners, and it'd be fun to go up there. Like I've done the Presidential Traverse up in New Hampshire. And so it'd be fun to maybe try to run that, and then do something like the Pemi Loop or some other trail running up in New Hampshire. So I'm just keeping my options open for, I guess, like August and September. Going to see how these first few events go, and see how things go. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Nice. Cool. All right, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Nice.
Okay, we are back, and me here, John, with Sam Dimick. Hi, Sam.
Hey, John.
I remember Sam from before.
Yep.
We're going to answer some questions from our like group chat, our Strava. I answered some questions earlier in the show by myself. but I wanted to save some that I didn't think were as like personal. So the first one I'm going to pull up this is from Leon. He left it on our Strava Club page, right? Yeah. Thank you, Leon, for sending this in. So what he said was, seeing as I suck at finding cool coffee/food stops, and you guys always find the best hidden ones, what are your top 5 local coffee/food spots worth riding to in New England? So he said in New England, which is like a lot, right?
Whoa, yeah.
So I don't know if you had time to think about this. There are 3, I sort of wanted to split it up. Mm-hmm. There are 3 coffee spots that come to mind. And I think you might see eye to eye with me. Coldbrook Cafe.
Yeah.
Small town vibes. Mm-hmm. North Situate, Rhode Island. That's the first one that I have on my list. Do you like Coldbrook?
Love it. It's on my list of top 5 in New England for sure.
Yeah, it's so solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also put We Roast in Lincoln. I think they just like great hospitality, great. And it's a good spot, good roads around there.
Yeah, I've been there. It's good.
And Teddy, who runs We Roast, has been super nice. He's helped us out with Cranksgiving and the Coffee Yes Cycling Maybe guys.
Yeah.
So that's been like a lot of fun. I really like We Roast. And then I said Jitters for the black and white cookie. I love Jitters and I love a black and white cookie. And it's also just like in a good spot. Are there any other coffee spots that come to mind for you? Maybe that we've gone to on rides or haven't even gone to on rides?
Yeah, honestly, and live in Providence, so I'm going to go 2 Providence spots, which are maybe well known, but 7 Stars Bakery in Providence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The 7 Stars in Rumford is one that I love to go to on the bike.
The Rumford on the bike, Rumford on the bike. I honestly go, Broadway.
See, I'm thinking on the bike.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know.
Coldbrook's up there, and then
it could be not on the bike. You can promote just one down the street from your house.
I ride there on the bike too. I've never been there on a group ride. Is the Nitro Bar? In Providence is really good, and they have a great cookies too, and like great pastries.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
that's so important. Yeah, because you don't just want a coffee spot that has like pre-wrapped things. You want something that's like sort of fresher.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just brought by a local bakery, not like baked in house, but something like that is good. Yeah. And then I also want to, there's a couple of general stores that I've been going to a lot lately. Pumpkin Hill Market in Oneko.
I've never been.
Pumpkin Hill Market and Oneko Market. They're both in Connecticut.
Big Oneko guide.
Oneko Market is great.
I'm glad to hear you say that actually, because I thought it was in my head. It's always been Oneko, but we've never said the name.
You know, earlier we were talking about the TAC-X trainer. Is it TAC or TAC-X or TAX?
I say TAC-X,
but it could be. I've heard people say Oneko.
Okay.
I think it's Oneko, and I don't know why, but I don't like where I grew up in Coventry is like pretty close to Oneko. So I don't know. I guess that's the way I heard it when I was growing up.
I'm gonna go Oneko.
On the count of 3, what is the best thing that you can get at Oneko Market? 1, 2, 3. Peanut butter
chip cookie.
Oh, you get the chocolate chip one? Do you always get the chocolate chip one?
No, I think you're right now that it is a peanut butter cookie.
It's peanut butter.
Yeah, it is peanut butter.
So they have like these fresh cookies there.
Yeah.
And there's a case right next to the register, and it's like either these peanut butter cookies. There also is chocolate chip, and there's like a shortbread or something, but I always get the peanut butter.
No, I get the peanut butter too. I
know
right.
I really put you on the spot.
No, you're right.
But that cookie is it's fucking
very good.
Great.
Yeah.
It bangs.
I responded to your story the other day. That is very good.
So that's why I thought you would say, because we were mid ride and you responded to my story, and I pulled out my phone out of my back pocket and I was like, I think Brian got a cookie the same cookie on the same day, and I was like, Sam likes the cookie too.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking cookie.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And Pumpkin Hill Market is the other one I was talking about. So
I gotta go. I've never been.
I don't even really know. It's like out further west in Connecticut from Oneko, a little bit further south, but it's on the top of Pumpkin Hill Road near like it's like Gallup Hill. It's near Gallup Hill and Shoeville Road and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like they're surrounded by great roads and they have a great selection.
Yeah.
There's nothing super. You can get like really cheap small packs of Haribo gummy bears there.
He's so good. I'm also going to shout out another one. Harmony General Store.
Oh, that is a great one.
That is a good one. I think that's in Harmony. I don't know. That's what it says. Shows on the map.
Which is like Smithfield, Situate.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
but that's a good spot. Honestly, like my bonk spot. Like that's my last stop before I get home.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, and it's surrounded by good roads. It's near like Snake Hill and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, good answers. And I did want to give an honorable mention to it's Willie's store in Greensboro, Vermont. To me, it's the best general store I've ever been to. I've been there with you.
Yeah.
We went on the bike packing trip.
Okay.
It's the one where we talked to the guys on the motorcycles.
Okay, I'm there.
And it has like the big grocery store in the back, and it's where I got the maple candies. And really cheap donuts and stuff.
Those maple candies were good.
Yeah, and so yeah, shout out. That's in Greensboro, Vermont. So that is my absolute favorite general store of all time. It's on the Gravel Growler route. So, yeah. Cool. Next question. So Jeff LaPierre, who's been on this podcast before, a member of IJAH, this is on the WhatsApp chat. He prefaces it by saying, I don't think this is a real thing, but if you can only have one bike, what would it be? So like, everyone talks about N+1, where you have like a different bike for everything. You have a few bikes, right? You have a mountain bike, a gravel bike, a road bike, right? I have a bike that sits in the back of a podcast more than it gets ridden, right? So, but
Still
if you
looks nice.
Thank you. If you could only have one bike, do you think what is your initial thought when asked that question?
Yeah, my initial thought
is a good question.
My initial thought is asking myself an internal question: road or gravel? Kind of not thinking about disregarding mountain bike, and I think the answer might have to be gravel in the S-Works Crux. Like the nicest version of the Crux. That's
a great answer. Now, this is not saying you can't ride it on the road. That's a relatively aggressive gravel bike, right? So like it wouldn't be out of place on the road. You can get another wheel set.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how that would fare on a competitive race, even
on a road ride
with road tires.
Because it'd be great on a gravel ride.
Totally.
It's a great bike. And you're right, the S-Works version, it's light. They got great paint jobs.
Maybe a little custom paint job too.
Interesting. So I was thinking like you think Specialized first, I think Cervelo first. So I'm like, what's Cervelo bike? And so like the Caledonia is like a more relaxed version of the R5 that I ride. I mean, kind of, sort of. It does have clearance for up to 34s, I think. So technically you could run it on gravel. So I would probably go for a bike that's a little bit more road. But the Crux never crossed my mind. And when you said it, I was like, damn, that's a good answer. That is a good answer. So
could get two different wheel sets.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's
it's a capable bike.
Yeah. It would just, but you're right. It would be very nice to have just a kick-ass road bike.
But then you're really limiting yourself. I think it's a lot easier to ride a gravel bike on road than it is to ride a road bike on gravel. So by going the more gravel route, I think it makes more sense. Right? I think so. Yeah. So congratulations, you win. Good. But no, that's a good question. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Good question, Jeff.
So this Matt Steinkamp, I answered a question from him earlier. He asked a question that I thought I'd like you to answer. Nice. So it says, if you could curate a perfect day on the bike, what would it look like? So I sort of answered this question when Cal interviewed me for the podcast back on like episode 25. But this can be anything, right? Your location, the route, the people, the bike, whatever. What comes to mind like for a perfect day on the bike?
Perfect day on the bike is just a teeny bit longer than what I want.
Okay. All right.
So I'm thinking like, I had in mind, like first route that came to mind is just mixed terrain, like a ton of different terrain, class 4 roads, maybe some chunky stuff, maybe some stuff that I'll have to walk over. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know yet.
Okay.
So I guess a gravel bike is involved, and just like a long day. I'm thinking the perfect day on the bike is just like maybe like an 8-hour day where I'm super well fueled. Maybe like maybe like 3 or 4 like general store like coffee stops.
Yeah,
and
that's a big part for me.
Yeah,
that's a huge part.
Yeah, and
you convinced me to go to Greasy Joe's just by saying you were stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. That's how simple it is for me. Because like for me to like break up a ride in a way where like I can just like go and like eat a donut, even though it's a mediocre donut and like an iced coffee that's like fine. I mean, I love Dunkin', but it's not like the best brand or anything. It's not like Nitro Bar or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like Jitters or any of those places. But like that, seriously, I was like, nah, dude, I'm looking forward to a blueberry muffin or a blueberry donut from Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow morning. And that alone is getting me to be like, yeah, sure, I'll ride to Greasy Joe's. Yeah. I'll do Greasy Joe's.
I'm going to Dunkin' before and after.
Yeah, excited. I'll go after with you too.
Yeah.
Because I'm riding there and back, so hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, like, what other things?
Just like a long day, well fueled. I'm not like feeling crappy or something, but like maybe the last couple miles. That's what I mean by like it's a little too far. Last couple miles, I'm like, all right, like let's get it over with.
This is something we didn't. I guess this sort of thinks about racing or like a long day in the saddle. How often are you on a regimented schedule when it comes to how often you drink or eat while on a bigger ride?
Yeah. I try to, on a bigger ride, I try to drink a bottle every 45 minutes.
Drink a full bottle, finish a full bottle every 45?
Finish a full bottle with scratch powder in there.
Yep.
With like, hopefully like a little bit of carb mix and electrolytes. So a bottle every 45 minutes. And then I usually try to get 2 gels on top of that. So that usually gets me like 60 to 90 carbs an hour.
Yep.
Which has been good. But was interesting this past weekend at Rasputitsa, I actually started cramping a little bit like at the last 10 miles.
Oh shit.
But off that regimen, and I thought it was crazy. I wrote down, I did 90 grams of carbs an hour.
Yep.
Had 1,400 calories. So maybe that could have been upped, but 90 grams of carbs an hour, 660 grams of sodium an hour or milligrams of sodium an hour, which I was reading a little bit about that, like Ironman athletes do 500 to 1,000.
Okay.
So I guess I'm on the lower end of that. So maybe I need to get the sodium up, but it's not like I cramp badly either. I just felt it a teeny bit, but
sure.
Yeah. So I guess a bottle every 45 minutes and then, a gel or just 2 gels, trying to get 60 to 90 carbs an hour. How about you?
I try to take a sip of water every 10 minutes.
Nice.
And on a longer ride, I'm eating my first thing at 45 minutes in.
Nice.
That's usually what I do. And then I guess if you're thinking about like calories for the ride, I'm probably on a big day, I'm trying to start eating 2 hours before, like oats and yogurt.
Yeah.
And then maybe have a snack a half hour to like right before I pedal in.
Yeah.
I clip in. Even if it's just like a banana.
Yep.
Or like if I'm being really boring, just a gel.
Yeah.
You know, like start the ride with a gel, you know?
Yeah.
And then eat the first thing 45 minutes in. I try, it depends on how warm it is, how quickly I finish a bottle, but I hope to be done with 2 bottles anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours in. And that's usually where I try to time my gas station stop so I can have those empty bottles, but then also be filling them up. So like 40 to 50 miles into the ride, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to refill these bottles, but I'm also making sure that they're empty by the time I get there, just to like optimize the, you know, you don't want to like get to that first stop and only have like half of your first bottle gone.
Yeah.
Because then you're not like, you're far behind.
Yeah.
You're really far behind. And even if you're not racing, I mean, it's, as someone that likes to ride their bike often and a lot, if I don't fuel properly on ride on Sunday, then on Monday I'm not going to feel good to ride either. You know, like I like to do back-to-back days or like bigger weeks or whatever, you know? So I think not only does it play into the ride, but it plays into like your recovery, you know, and like how well you eat afterwards plays into like how well you're eating on the bike, you know? Sometimes I haven't eaten a lot on the bike and afterwards I'm like ravenous. Like too hungry, you know, because I didn't eat enough while I was training.
Yeah.
And I recently heard it somewhere. It was like diet off the bike, not on the bike. Like while you're riding, eat. Make sure you're eating. Make sure you're fueling. Like there are good things and bad things to put in your body. I put both into my body. You know, gels aren't fun, but like they're good and they're efficient.
Yeah.
But I also get shit at gas stations, but I also make like homemade stuff or just like have a pancake in my back pocket. I hope to have a pancake in my back pocket tomorrow for Greasy Joe's.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it all depends, and I think probably finishing a bottle every 45 minutes is good. I like that. That's even quicker than I finish them.
I like your smaller scale though, because sometimes I see 45 on my watch and I'm like, oh shoot.
So I'm thinking every 10 minutes. Now, do you have I know some head units have timers and some don't. Do you do any timers or anything to remind yourself?
No, I don't do a timer. I just think about it like in my head. I don't know.
I'm just doing every 10s, you know, so like on my head unit when I'm 10 minutes in, I'm taking that sip, you know, and then 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's easy because you're just looking for that 0 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, cool. Matt Steinkamp also asked, why did Chad get fired from Trainer Road? I don't know what that means. I felt like I could have looked it up, but like, I have no idea what that means. And I was like, so sorry, Steinkamp. You can look it up somewhere else. You don't know what that means?
No, I'm out of the loop on Trainer Road.
Yeah, I don't even really, I'm not even really 100% clear on what Trainer Road is. Like, is it like Exert or Training Peaks?
I think it's like a Training Peaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry.
I honestly don't know.
Okay. So Jake Saunders on our WhatsApp, he a former guest of the podcast, he said, if you could take one local Strava KOM, which would it be and why? So we talked about this a little bit before. There are two for me that are pretty close to where I am. It's going up Gardner, which is goes north, and then it's going up Wawaloom. One is a little bit longer than the other. They're both up. Gardner's a little bit longer. It's probably a 3 or 4 minute effort. Wawaloom is like short but steep.
These are ones you don't have.
These are ones I do not have. Okay. I don't have the KOMs on them. I want the KOMs on them. The Gardner one, I'm probably like, I want to say I'm like top 5. Nice. The other one, I don't even know where I am. I know I don't have the KOM on them, but I want them.
Nice.
Yeah. You have some that you want?
Those are good ones. I think I know what you're talking about. And yes, the first one that comes to mind is Burlingame Road in Smithfield, which is just because it's by me and I can ride there.
Yep.
And it's like one of the closest like graded climbs.
It's a great climb.
Yeah. And I think it takes it takes anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's hard. So I guess I want that. I don't even know who has it and I don't know where I'm at on it, but I want that.
Yeah.
And then for gravel, another one that comes to mind is the first KOM that I got was in Arcadia. It's like Summit to something. I don't know. Right out of Arcadia. And I was so happy that I got it. Get home, stoked.
Yeah.
And then I see like a few weeks later, I get a notification, Marcus Pocha. I'm probably butchering his last name.
Pocha. Yeah. But yeah, Marcus. Yeah, nice job. Thanks, Marcus.
Nabbed my KOM. I was Oh, I don't even think I knew him at the time. And then we like linked up on gravel rides, and then I was like,
wow.
And then I knew who he was, and I was like, wow, this is the guy that took my KOM.
And he still has it? Or you didn't get it back?
No, I didn't get it back.
Someone might have stolen it from him, I guess.
Someone could have stolen it from him, but if Marcus has it, revenge on Marcus.
Yeah. Let's all go after it.
Yeah, exactly.
One day we're just riding around Boston. We know he's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, like, are there certain things that you look for? We both mentioned ones that go uphill. I guess there are others. Like, I'd love to have like Plain Meeting House Road, but that seems like that's a climb,
Super hard.
That's a tough climb.
I think Cal's number 2. Shout out Cal.
Hell yeah. That's a tough effort.
Yeah.
I wonder how many. I'm trying. Like, so you also think about like taking ones from your friends can be fun. As long as it doesn't get too competitive, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to take some from Jake. I don't know if that's ever happened, but like, certain riders it feels good to take from. Even though it's like just this silly thing that doesn't really matter. Are there certain things? Are you always looking for uphill segments? Is it a certain person's name? I try not to make it about the person's name. I try to just make it about the effort.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested now. I'm excited. I feel like before this, I have a power meter now. So before this, I feel like all of my outdoor rides were either were zone 2 rides and just like long days on the bike, or like sometimes I'd do like perceived effort. But now now that I have the power meter, I'm excited to do outdoor intervals. So I'll definitely start attacking some like segments and stuff like that, which will be fun. But just because of that, I don't really go out and look at segments because I know I'm not going to be hammering them because I'm just gonna.
But you can hammer without a power meter.
Yeah, true. I just feel like normally when I'm doing intervals, you
can do intervals without power.
Yeah, exactly, totally. Off perceived effort.
Perceived. Like you're just if you're not like. And even if it's like, it doesn't need to be strict over-unders, but you can understand the effort of an over-under just based on like how hard you're working.
Totally,
like, So, but power does help me a lot too, but I think I more look at power, personally, I look at power more after than I look at during, and I look at my heart rate more during.
True.
I don't know about you. I mean, maybe you'll have a better indication on it once you've used your power meter for a little while.
Yeah, right? I just did the one ride yesterday. I tried to do zone 2, and I tried to look at the. Was trying to look at the power and put out zone 2, but it was tough to keep it in that.
It is tough,
especially on like a hilly route. I was like, no erg mode.
No, there's no erg mode. Yeah. All right, I got a couple more questions. So. Thomas Spann on our Strava, he asked a question that I really can't answer. Maybe you can, and if not, I guess we'll just have to say sorry, Thomas, next time. But like, this is about weight training during the off season. So I felt like this was a good idea to ask you because you seem like a more well-rounded person when it comes to training than me. I ride my bike like a lot. I do yoga, but otherwise I just like ride my bike. You swam this morning, you run, you've done triathlons before. Is weight training something that you put in? So Thomas's full question, do you weight train during the off season? And if so, how often and when do you stop lifting? Thomas adds, he's spent at least 2 weeks a day in the gym year round, and at age 68, he found himself losing less muscle. He's not sure if it's a good idea to lift that often. He wouldn't know how to balance strength training and cycling. So, like, I guess I do want to say, like, right, we're not experts. This is all just based on our, our experience. But, like, do you find yourself in the gym doing weight training ever?
I do. That being said, I haven't been in there in 2 weeks because I didn't the week leading up to Rasputitsa, and I haven't this week.
Yep.
Today's Friday, so... Yeah, and I definitely do, and I try to get in 2 days a week. That
all year round, or mostly in the winter?
Mostly in the winter. Like I don't see myself getting in 2 days a week this summer.
Right.
I'm hoping to get in 1 day a week and just do some light stuff. But that's the thing too. When I'm getting in there, it's not like I'm getting under the squat bar and throwing on some plates and getting after it. Like I don't want to say that I'm activating when I'm in the gym, but like I'm not really like there to like gain strength. Like I'm not like really looking to like up my weight.
You're really
and
just trying to work some muscles in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, keep some muscles.
Keep your body guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like do some really controlled, like really think about activating all the muscles and just like I really only get in there for like 45 minutes. Like I see myself doing like front squats and like split squats with dumbbells and like goblet squats and
see, I've never been like a weight person myself. Like I've always been like more cardio focused. And when I like first like lost a bunch of weight, right? I was like significantly heavier and I lost a lot of weight. I was just like walking, and then I was going to Planet Fitness, but just like getting on like the equivalent to a Peloton bike there, or the elliptical. I'd get on the elliptical a lot. I would just do the weight stuff as like a cool down or a warm up to lead in or lead out of that cardio, sort of in the same way to like keep my body guessing. But these were mostly machines.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what the fuck a goblet squat is. What is a goblet squat? I don't know what that is.
Like holding the dumbbell like in front of you.
And then you come down.
And then you're doing a squat with the dumbbell in front of you.
Gotcha. I've seen people do that.
So I don't know.
I wish it was called like goblin squat.
but yeah, I don't know. I'm in there like this off season. I'd say I was trying to get in there 2 days a week. I bet I averaged a day and a half a week.
But you find it's beneficial.
Yeah, I think it's good.
And I think most people probably do it during the off season, which is a lot clearer to us here in New England because it gets cold, right? So basically like October to April, it's colder around here and people spend more time in the gym or not as much time outside on their bikes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's awesome that Thomas like spends 2 days a week in the gym year round. And like, I just ran into him the other day on the bike path. Actually, it was Easter Sunday.
Nice.
I was going to like meet my wife before going to our aunt's house, and he's in great shape. Nice. And he like rides all the time. So like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have one more question I'd like to answer. This is from Jonathan Lowenstein on our WhatsApp chat. And I think coming off of Rasputitsa, and we've both done events that I think this question pertains to, but I don't know if we have all of the answers here. So so Jonathan's question says, is sending 1,000 riders off on roads open to traffic at once anywhere really a good idea? So I think this is a bit of a loaded question. Right?
Definitely, yeah.
It's sort of loaded. I'm kind of it kind of makes you feel like you need to be defensive, but you did a ride that had close to 800 people. The Overland numbers are like wild. They're sending all of these riders onto roads. Maybe there are police officers at corners, but these roads aren't closed.
Yeah.
Is it a good idea to do it? What are your initial thoughts when you hear that question?
My initial thoughts is I don't know, but also the first thing that I thought of was like in my mind, I was like, oh, easy fix. Why don't they just close off the roads?
Yeah, but that's expensive.
And I guess I think I'm just too naive there that that's too many resources, too expensive,
right?
Blah, blah, blah. But I also think that I don't want to say that I don't know how, like it was my first race, so I don't really know. But I mean, people are getting after it there. Like this isn't like a Fondo ride. Like people are like going as fast as they can, like cornering around a turn. If they need to go wide because they're going too fast, like screw it, they're going to go wide because they're going too fast. And because they want to pass this guy or whatever. And so like, is a race like that safe? I'd say no. Like not.
There's
like,
definitely ways to improve upon it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, but like that the same format with not like same roads, closed downs, all that. Like, and it's just like a fun ride out with friends where they're like, hey, we're gonna stop at this place and have a little like I don't even know, just like a slower ride. Then maybe it is safer, but I'd say no. There
was a bad accident at Rasputitsa.
Yes, that's why. That's I think the root of the question.
I think so too. And there was a bad accident at Overland. Now the Rasputitsa one, the guy passed away, right? So rest in peace. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
I do not either.
Tragic, but it was with a vehicle, correct? Overland was not with a vehicle. It was something bike related. I don't think we ever really was confirmed what it was. So being vehicle related, I think it's a very valuable question. Now, saying 1,000 riders, I think is sort of inappropriate because the 1,000 riders never stay together as a peloton of 1,000 riders, right? Yep. So like, I think that's sort of what makes it a little bit of a loaded question because it's like, yeah, but like there's also a way of doing a neutral start and having a few of the first few roads closed off to traffic. Yeah. And then once it really starts to open up, the peloton breaks up, the group breaks up. I mean, once you were halfway in to Rasputitsa, how big was the group you were riding with?
Which is what exactly what happened, what you just described. Like the group I was in, maybe 4 or 5 people. Yeah.
So I mean, a group of 4 or 5 at race pace is slightly different than a group of 4 or 5 of us on some endurance ride, on these roads around here. Like you said, you're taking corners, you're bombing shit, you know what I mean? You're taking calculated risks. There's still risks, right? But like there is a way to improve upon just throwing 2,000, 1,000 riders out onto the roads. You can, I think, spread awareness in a way in the community that like allows them to like support the race. Like, you know, something big like Overland or Rasputitsa brings people in, like you're going to that area of Vermont, you're spending your money there. Even if you're staying locally with family, like you're filling up your gas tank, you're buying food, you're adding to the economy of that area. So there is a way to like properly inform the community of like the event awareness, and so hopefully there's like a mutual appreciation. Now, is that like a pipe dream? Like that's like very utopian, sure, but it doesn't mean like people can't look forward to it. You can have people go out in waves. So I do think it's a good question, but I also think that like it is a little bit inflammatory when you're saying is sending 1,000 riders off on open roads to traffic. Like it's very, and like it sucks that like someone got hurt, and like I know John personally, we've ridden with him before. I know he recently like got into an accident and he's on his rehabilitation, he's on his recovery, and that sucks. But like I don't know, like because you can't close down all the roads. Yeah. And like we're in a time where like racing, especially in New England, like mile stand just got canceled. Races are being canceled because people aren't signing up for them. So like now we're looking at the opposite side of the coin, and we're like, well, there are these events that thousands of people are signing up for. It's like great. It's great that 1,000 people are signing up for it. Yeah, because it's fun. Yeah, and gravel is different than road races, but I don't know. What do you think?
No, I was just gonna say, you look at races like I don't know, like BWR Arizona, or races out in California, like gravel races, West Coast, you see cars flying by people that are going on, like the pros too. Like you see pros, like cars going the other way and pros coming by. So they're not closing down the roads there. So clearly, and maybe those are bigger scale, maybe more resources. They have a little bit going into it to make it more safer. I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting. I was watching some like highlights of a recent gravel race out there, and there were cars flying by.
There were cars flying. Yeah. I mean, there was a corner where a truck or a Jeep flew by us on Overland. Yeah. And it was a tight corner. Yeah. Like it is not cycling is not like a safe hobby.
Yeah.
I would say that it is a relatively dangerous hobby. You can take calculated risks, right? I mean, and that's part of the excitement for some people. It's part of the excitement for me. You know, it makes you feel live a little bit. You're bombing down a hill on gravel or on road. Like you feel really good. You hit a corner really nicely. You know, you're really like distributing your weight properly. Makes you feel a little bit like Matthew Vanderpool or Tom Pidcock or something.
You know, like Pidcock.
Yeah, hell yeah. Makes you feel like Pidcock going down Alpe d'Huez, crushing it around Chris Froome. But like, it's an interesting question. In an ideal world, the roads are closed, right? But that's not like, that's very hard.
Yeah.
And there are opportunities to do that, like races, like road races that happen like on racetracks. You know, there's like the Palmer Grand Prix, the Thompson Grand Prix, I think it's called too. It happens at Thompson Speedway. But yeah, it's tough because there are events that aren't getting a lot of people. So what would we rather see? Big events with mass starts of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, or races getting shut down? I think it's the mass starts with 1,000 people. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Maybe do it in waves.
Yeah.
Farmer's Daughters in waves.
Yeah,
right?
We're
going to do that in waves.
Yep.
Also not a race, so I guess a little bit different. But I mean, you are... Most of the time, especially with these gravel rides, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
So like it's people that like live on dirt roads and like drive from farm to farm, and like most of the time they don't see anyone. And so coming around a corner and seeing a bunch of riders is shocking.
Yeah.
But there is a way that we can spread awareness of the events and be like, hey, like I think you told me about the what is that Grand Prix mountain bike gravel
Lifetime Grand Prix.
Yeah, you told me about those videos. We talked about it in the group chat and stuff. And there were some, and I think Sea Otter's one of them, where like the town like opens their arms to these riders.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, this is a great weekend for us.
Yeah.
And it's similar to like what happens in like certain middle of nowhere towns where like film festivals happen. Is like all of a sudden there's this cool event happening in our town. These people come in from all around the world to ride their bikes here, appreciate our community, you know, buy food from the diner, spend time at the general store, meet the locals. Like, isn't that's the dream, right? And so, like, it'd be sick. Overland kind of has that vibe. Did Rasputitsa have that vibe at all, where, like, the town was like, look what's happening this weekend?
Kind of. I mean, there were definitely some people around, like downtown East Burke and everything. But it's super interesting, actually. My dad was talking to somebody there, I guess, that was saying that some of the locals actually shut down some of the locals have so much land that they can't tend to it. So bike riders are going through it and like the land, and they just recently like closed it off, saying that bikers can't do that. So I guess it's like kind of ruined some routes for people. And I think there may have been some that they were going to do for Rasputitsa that they closed off. So, so maybe it's on the other end of what you were just saying, that people are a little bit more like, I don't know about all these bikers coming in, but I don't really know. I think it was just that the town isn't that big that we didn't see that many people.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, the town, I think it's, I don't know. Shit. If Brian was here, he would know. It's Waterbury or wherever that place is that we stopped right after we stayed at Brian's mom's before the Gravel Growler. Craftsbury, wherever Ascutney Outdoors is. Yeah. It's a small town.
Totally, yeah.
But it very much, there were like riders everywhere for the weekend.
Yeah.
But there were people that had a negative, there were like signs on people's houses while we were doing the race that were like, that said like, cancel Ansel. Ansel's like one of the guys that organizes the ride. They were not happy. They were like very like, stay out of our town. So you're going to get both sides of the coin. But I think something like a big festival type weekend where people are like celebrating bikes and celebrating the local culture is great and is a far reach, I think, for a lot of these things, but is a lot better than like things shutting down. Like Miles Standish, I think, is something that like when my dad was racing, he participated in, so like it's been going for a couple generations. And so now to see that it's not happening, and I'm not 100% sure on the details, but I don't think enough people had signed up, which is super unfortunate. And I know that people like struggle to get people to sign up for things and pay for things. And it's tough because sometimes people wait until the last minute to sign up. But if you don't have the capital to like rent out a place or like pay for the police officers at the certain corners, then you're shit out of luck. We're going to run out of bike races.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I haven't organized any events like that, you know, and so it's a bit hard for me to like speak to it because I know it's hard.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I think there are better ways to do it than just letting 1,000 people on the road at once. But I also don't want to see these events like shut down or not happen. You know? I mean, especially when tragic things happen. Like they were talking about like Overland not happening this year. And maybe that was just rumors on the internet because people just like tend to talk. But like when someone dies at a race, that's serious.
Yeah.
You know, that's like very serious.
Yeah.
Like, especially because it is just bikes. Like we're not pros, you know? And so you're like, whoa, what are we... That's talk about calculated risks, you know? So yeah, not to end the show on a bummer.
No.
But I did think it was a good question. And yeah. So thank you, Sam. Is there anything that you'd like to add before you get out of here?
Yes, I actually I brought a gift for you.
What? Oh wow, you are.
So I know I know that you are recently dubbed the Lube Dude.
Yeah, I'm now the Lube Dude. If you haven't checked out the video on Instagram and YouTube, I'm the Lube Dude.
So selfishly, I brought my own lube for you.
Oh.
To review.
Okay, this will be the second lube that I review then. Perfect. Wow. Finish line. Wet bike lubricant.
It's not my I bought this.
But this is your go-to lube.
That's my go-to lube. So I'm hoping that you can review it and tell me if it's what you think about it.
Wow, I love this. So it's just off the bat, full synthetic wet bike lubricant. Never used Finish Line. My dad used to use it. Like I used to see it like in my dad's like, you know, workshop where I didn't know anything about bikes.
Yep.
And I know it's popular, but I've never used it. So wow. Thank you, Sam.
No problem.
That's very nice of you.
Yep. No problem.
Finish Line wet bike lubricant. And I reviewed Squirt in the first episode. Thanks to Ken Pastore for donating the Squirt. And Squirt hit me up, and now you can get 20% off if you're a member of IJAH. You get 20% off your Squirt. So become a member. Join our WhatsApp chat. The link to the Squirt link is right in there. And maybe Finish Line will give us a discount code next.
Yeah.
As long as I say something positive about it.
Yeah,
I really like
point.
the Squirt. But do you use this? Couple quick questions.
Yeah.
Do you use this on all your bikes?
Use it on all my bikes.
Exclusively?
Yes.
Do you have any other lube at home?
Yes.
That you just don't use?
Yes, I do. I couldn't tell you the name of it though.
Okay.
I just like my sister got it for me or something.
Sure.
But
that's very nice of her.
Yeah, but I just know how to apply this, and I just that's all I've used. So and it seems to work. So I don't know. But if there's something better out there, or if you say like, oh, this if you've been using this other one's great. You know?
No, right off the bat, it reminds me of like a rock and roll gold. Just like a nice. It cleans, it lubes, it does all of the above.
Yeah.
Apply to chain, right? Pretty straightforward. Shake well, apply to chain, wipe excess, and allow to dry. Yeah.
Boom.
Finish Line.
Yeah.
Solid bottle.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. I used to brought it on a couple rides when I.
There are some lubes that I have at home that I never use. I don't want to spoil the review, right, for the future lube dude.
Yeah.
But there's one lube that I have like in my bike room downstairs. They never use. I'm actually not looking forward to doing the review because it means I'm gonna have to put it on my chain. You know, and then like ride it and be like, I hate this, and then wipe it off and totally degrease the chain. You know, like just lube it up again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So next time, don't use it just because you have to. Like next time you need it. You know what I mean?
No, I gotta do another lube, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good point. Yeah.
And so, you know what? Is this what you would run for Greasy Joe's?
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to put. I'm going to do the Lube Dude review today and put this on before Greasy Joe's.
Nice.
Because I got to do my chain anyway.
Nice.
That's a great idea.
I do too. And depending on your review, I will as well.
All right. Well, I don't know how quickly I'm going to edit the video, but I will definitely put this on my gravel bike for Greasy Joe's. Thank you so much, Sam. That's very nice of you. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Always good.
And hell yeah, let's we're going to do Greasy Joe's together. We're going to do Farmer's Daughter together. We're going to do Greylock together.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, dude. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone. Well, that's all we have for today's episode of the It's Just a Hill podcast. Thank you again to Sam for coming and answering my questions and answering all of our questions and for giving me that Finish Line lube. I'm going to go and lube up my bike before Greasy Joe's tomorrow. Another great, I know this is coming out after the fact, but another great ride going off tomorrow is the Coffee Yes Cycling Maybe folks are starting their group rides. They have their first one this weekend, but hoping that they're going to be doing more. And they're great. They've helped us out with events in the past. They've been very supportive. We did our Cranksgiving event with them. Their group ride tomorrow is starting from We Roast in Lincoln. So just a shout out to them, even though this is too late for the ride promotion. But hopefully they have rides in the future. We will also have some rides in the future coming up a little bit intermittently. Keep an eye on our Strava page. You can find that in the link below for upcoming events and stuff like that. Maybe asking you for more questions for the podcast so that people can chime in. Do that there on Strava or on our WhatsApp, which I think I've mentioned about 5 or 6 times now. So I'll slow my roll on that one. But I'd also like to shout out our sponsors before we get out of here. A Guy and His Pie, great pizza. Brian Caudy, we love him. We love his pizza. We love him. It's true. I know I might not sound sincere right now, but it's true. Love you, Brian. And check him out, aguyandhispie.com, or on Instagram. You can order his pizza to pick up on Mineral Spring Ave in Pawtucket. It's great, Detroit-style pizza. Seriously, some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I'm really not. I'm not just saying it. It's so good. Detroit-style pizza is a great pizza. Not enough people know about it, I don't think. And Brian does a great job at it. He does traditional styles. He does like these fun collabs, like with local places that help him provide ingredients. And it's always different. And you can buy a shirt from him and stuff. I have a shirt myself. And so, yeah, support Brian. Support your friends, and I think it's good. Also, friends and food, talking about friends and food, Bomb Burritos and Wings out of Westerly, Rhode Island, right on Dunn's Corner. You can check them out. They also, their website, Bomb Burritos RI, their Instagram, their Facebook. They're great. They've always been supportive of the club. And speaking of supportive of the club, people see the Pepperidge Farm logo on the back of our jerseys. Someone once asked me if it was a joke. It is not a joke. My dad and my brother work. My dad is now retired. I think mostly he just works behind the shadows like Emperor Palpatine with my brother who runs the route. But they, my brother delivers local Pepperidge Farm bread to local stores. So you should go to your local stores here in Rhode Island and buy Pepperidge Farm and help support the brand because they help support us and support Mythic Bike Works and the Peacedale Ramp Room in Peacedale, Rhode Island. You can check them out. They're a great shop and, so they have the ramp room, which is right up the street from the original shop, which is right off the South County bike path. And head on down there, check out the ramp room, get a dirt jumper bike, and tell Mike that It's Just a Hill sent you. They're really nice, really friendly. They'll work on your bike. They'll sell you bikes. They'll give you free advice. They're very nice. That's Mythic Bike Works in Peacedale, Rhode Island. And